Welcome to Career Ambitions, the podcast for corporate professionals who are ready to stop waiting and take control of their careers. If you're tired of sending applications into the void, wondering why you're not getting interviews, and watching opportunities go to people who are no more qualified than you, you're in the right place, my friends. I'm Joanne Sparrow, former HR director turned career coach, and I've spent more than 2 decades sitting on the other side of the hiring table. That means I know exactly what hiring managers think and what they say behind closed doors. Join me on this episode of Career Ambitions, where I'm pulling back the curtains on the hiring process and unapologetically exposing the truths job seekers are never told to give you the strategy and confidence to move your career forward and land your dream job or promotion. Welcome to Career Ambitions. My guest today is Alliancé, and we met at the Women in PR conference earlier this year in May in Toronto, and I knew right away I wanted her as a guest on my podcast. So welcome to the show today.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to join you at Career Ambitions and be an active member of your audience today. I remember when we met at the conference, and the conversation was like, "Hey, Alliancé, would you like to do a recording?" I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is it's the first time for me, and I don't feel ready. How about we reach out on email and do a scheduling of the recording?" So I'm really glad and happy to be here today. For your viewers and listening today, I am Alliancé Daniels. I am a little bit of a multi-passionate person. I love everything to do with people and governments and businesses and communities and everything in the likes of it, which I'm happy to dive a little bit into during our session together.
Wonderful. And I know your expertise sits at the intersection of 3 disciplines that are very powerful when they work together, and that is government relations, public affairs, and strategic communications. So being that you're in Ottawa, I'm sure you have a lot of great opportunities, and you've made some really great moves in your career. So I'd like to start by asking about you. Your career has moved through all 3 of those: public policy, government relations, and strategic communications, and also advocacy. So when you look back, what was the through line that connected all of those opportunities?
That's a great question. And looking back, I don't really see 4 different careers. What I see is one consistent pursuit. You know, I've always been deeply curious about systems and their impact on society. Now, this curiosity naturally drew me to roles in policy comms, government relations, and advocacy. And over time, I realized that what I enjoy doing the most is really building bridges. And that really looks like connecting people, sectors, and ideas and conversations, because that's exactly where lasting change usually begins. So that has been my through line through my very various sector of experiences.
Excellent. And you have also advised senior leaders in high pressure political environments. What did that teach you about communication, judgment, and staying calm when the stakes are high?
That they are very important. All 3 of them are the magic ingredients that you need to be an excellent public figure, to communicate to the public. And, you know, most times, people often think being calm is a personality trait, but what I really think of it is that it's a preparation strategy. You know, one lesson I've learned is that meetings, when the meetings happen, is not really where the work begins. It's where preparation before the meeting is tested, you know. Before the senior leaders are able to walk into a room to meet with persons or the public, really, there was someone behind the scenes who was tasked with anticipating the questions, the conversation, weighing in what the risks and opportunities are, and really considering what multiple sector scenarios would be and what a win-win conversation would look like, and really creating opportunities and moments where the senior advisor would shine and also bring light into the conversation. So my role has always been at the time to filter out the noise and really identify what matters and help leaders make confident decisions. And this is where I think judgment becomes just as important as knowledge. And communication, working through all that is really key in delivering exactly the right of conversation and the right decision into the conversation.
Yes, your work is so important, the work you do, especially in these very turbulent political times that we're living in. And so for job seekers who want to work in government relations or public affairs, advocacy, what skills actually matter the most behind the scenes?
Well, we talked a little bit about communications, which I think is really, really, really important. But stepping back, really everyone thinks public affairs is the speeches, the media interviews, and the networking, which is true. But honestly, BTS, or like behind the scenes, it really is a lot of project management, a lot of judgment skills, and a lot of relationship building skills that you need. BTS, we really need to have the ability to communicate clearly enough so that someone can make a decision in the early minutes. Like as soon as they hear what you're communicating, are they able to make a decision based off the information that you shared with them? You need to be able to build relationships long before you need anything. And you also need the judgment, that you need to know how to use your judgment and exercise it the right way. So you know when to say something, what not to say, and what to escalate, what not to escalate, and really how patience can also be used, can be used as a strategy to get the better outcome for everything that we need. So it really is better judgment, relationships, communicating clearly, and a lot of project management, because you have to move things along the lines till the end.
Those are all such important skills to have, and they're transferable skills as well.
Very transferable, yeah. Very.
A lot of ambitious professionals want to make an impact, but they don't always know what that looks like in real life and careers. So how have you defined impact for yourself?
You know, this question, and I was reading the question, I was like, how do I respond to this question? In the beginning, early stages of my career, is how I measured impact was through applause and completing my to-do list. Like, how many people actually see what I'm doing and send me some good accolades or congratulation message or clap or give me a pat on my back. But then today, that has evolved. It has evolved in many, many different ways. How I see impact, and that really began since I joined government about 5 years ago. I started measuring impact through how I make someone feel or how I leave the room after I've been in the room. So really that looks like, did I make a new partnership grow? Did I help make better decisions because I was able to provide the right information in the room or in the conversation? Or did I help make someone else's career a bit better because of a particular information that I was able to share with them, or a tip and open the door for them? So really, for me, it's not really so much about being remembered, but it's more so about creating something that really outlives my presence in the room. That is how I measure impact now, and really how I navigate measuring impact with everything and every person that I interact with today. And maybe that will evolve too. Maybe that will really evolve as I continue. But at this point, that's where I'm at right now. And I think it's been really good. It's been really, really amazing.
I love that. It sounds like you want to make a lasting legacy.
Well, I think it is something to dream towards. I think every person has something they're driven towards. And for me, is I want to live the world a better place than I found it to be. So,
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for me, very similar. How many people am I impacting in a positive way?
Exactly.
Am I getting referrals, and not from a self-serving position or point, but when I get a DM in LinkedIn and someone, like from a stranger, and they say, "Oh, so-and-so suggested I reach out to you. I'm struggling with my career," that just lights me up. It's like, wow, that's, I love it.
Exactly.
And so You've built a career at the intersection of strategy, relationships, and influence. What advice would you give someone who wants to become more influential without becoming performative or political?
That is a very good question, Joanne. And I think the very time, because as we know right now, the political scene is that the public does not want performative politics or engagement. Great question there. What I can tell you is that I have learned influence is really not built by being the loudest person in the room, right? Influence is built by being useful, credible, and consistent. And really, one of the key things when I got into federal government in Ottawa, one of my senior chief advisors, or my chief at the time, told me, hey, Alliancé, in this space, in order to thrive really well, you need to follow through. And in the beginning, I didn't fully understand what that meant, but in practice, by following through, you really are then able to build your credibility and your influence, because then people see you as, hey, she can actually finish the project. She actually did what she said she'll do. And in turn, this turns into trust, and you become a very credible voice and a person to go to. So really, it's really thinking about what does that look like, and how can you then in turn think about different ways of earning trust and really building visibility. Because visibility might get someone's attention, but trust is really what brings people back. So what are you doing in the process to get people to really trust you and buy in your relationship? As I said, it's a two-way street. So you need to think about all that in your influential building pathways. Yeah, that's really how I would frame that notion of influence. Really follow through, being useful, being credible, being consistent, and eventually people will see what you're doing, and that goes forward with you.
Yeah, and you mentioned trust. That's a big one. And, you know, building your influence is not about beating others down.
No, it's not.
And we're seeing that a lot right now in our political arena, if you will. And I think that's the fastest way to discredit yourself and lose that ability to be influential.
Exactly. You need to be a person that brings light in the conversation, and you're really able to, I don't want to say tag on people's emotions, but really be a light that brings brightness into an already dark conversation or very optimistic situation where you're in. So
I love that. Be a light, you know, bring that positivity and solutions to challenges that people are faced with.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what role has networking played in your career, especially when you're moving into rooms where you may not have had an obvious roadmap?
Thank you for this one. And I think I can just begin by saying networking has played a very, 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 very important role into how I got into the spaces I've got into, and from there till where I am today. In the early times when I was really thinking about where do I take my career after school and graduating, I had to learn and build up my confidence to start networking, but like in a very small way, because I had to understand through my time as a student leader on campus that networking really is not about collecting contacts, but it's about being intentional. Really being intentional on the space you want to get to and finding the people in those spaces that you really want to connect with. And then when they give you advice, make sure you really follow through with it to see the outcome of it. So in the beginning, for me, I did my early steps of networking by reaching out to a list of 10 people that I really, really wanted to talk to at the time in Vancouver, that they were already working in the space of public affairs, and I was very much new in the space. So I talked to them and I asked them my questions on how do I get into the space, how do I break in, what does the pathway for this look like? And really, because I was curious and I was very intentional in my pursuit of conversation, I was then able to get the information that I needed and put action into it. So in your networking, it's not really about collecting contacts. It really is about building credibility and really following through, as I've mentioned. And over time, the relationships that you build through your networks become your reputation, and then those in turn turn opportunities and recommendations your way. So really, it's about, putting yourself out there, following through, and also leaving a memorable impression if you can.
Yes.
But really, networking has been absolutely fundamental in everything, for sure.
Love it. Thank you. And so what's one career lesson you learned in Ottawa that most people outside of government or politics would be surprised by?
Well, you probably have heard the saying that Ottawa is a small bubble. Well, it really is a small bubble, like smaller than I initially anticipated it to be when I was coming in from Vancouver. And really, once you really get here, you understand how interconnected everyone is. And then what that means is that trust really matters in a circle where everything and everyone is very, very interconnected in one way than the other. And also that means that Ottawa has a very long memory. So the relationships that you build today or that I build today will often shape the future opportunities or the future engagements that I may be able to access later on, and vice versa. So really, it's about the relationships being the pillar that you need to move forward the complex works that you need moved forward. But then again, you really have to remember that Ottawa is a small bubble. So you have to move with integrity around everything, and really think about trust and your credibility as you navigate this space. Well, I think that applies to every space as it is, but in Ottawa especially so.
Yeah, I believe that to be true in everything in life. And really, it's about what are people saying about you when you leave the room?
Exactly. And how did you make me feel after you left the room? Because, sometimes perception is everything. And at times, how you carry yourself could deter another person's ability to have a good relationship with you, because that's how they received or perceived you to be. And it can take a lot of work to, remove that perception and show them another side to you that would be better, or they missed or did not see in light of. So it really is, it's everything. It really is everything.
And so for early and mid-career professionals, especially women and people from underrepresented communities, what advice do you have in building confidence before they feel fully ready?
Let me begin by saying this one thing, Joanne. One can never be fully ready. Like, look at me today. I am here today. I was not ready for the podcast or being out there, but I am, because I said yes. I am now feeling a bit ready, because then what this means is, at the time when I used to think that I have to be ready to take on opportunities, that delayed my action and my momentum into getting the opportunities that I was supposed to get. So by delaying myself into thinking that, I have to be ready to do X, Y, Z, well, the opportunities have already left me. So one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that really confidence is not a prerequisite for an opportunity, and confidence is accumulated through actions. So even when you don't feel ready, really just start somewhere, say yes, and take a small leap, and you'll be ready maybe 10,000 steps into it. But you just need to start somewhere, and then that will prepare you into feeling ready. Like, before you run a race, you need to start walking. So in that perspective of things, you can never be ready. Just do it and learn it along the way. And the right opportunities that have always come to me and my way have always come at a time when I never really felt ready. But I had to trust myself to be ready, and really just take on and learn as I go and fail forward if I may. And the worst that could happen is, okay, I failed. And then what did I do? I learned something from it.
Learned from
Can I translate that into something else. And maybe that was not the right path. Maybe there's something else. Then you will find your way towards that. But really, it's not about being ready. It's just about just take the lead. Believe in yourself. Just start. Yeah, just start.
And similarly to that point, I'm so glad that the two of us both said yes to the Women in PR conference.
Exactly.
I hadn't attended the conference in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and nor had I sponsored any event in the past. And I just knew it was the right opportunity. It was the right room for me to be in. And you and I wouldn't be having this conversation if neither of us had notes. Yeah. So well done to both of us.
Exactly. Like, you never really know what could happen. You know, I have a friend that was once approached by a particular someone, and the opportunity came to them, and fast forward, they were sitting in front of a conversation room with a very high figure person, talking to them about a book that they were publishing. And, you know, you just have to be ready again. Like, just do it. You can't ever be ready. Like, start somewhere, you know. You got to start. Just do it. Really, just do it.
Nike has it right when they say just do it.
Exactly. And it's like, how did they know that is the only through line that everybody needs to be successful in life? Is really just do it. Just
take action. Take that first step.
Big or small, just start somewhere. Just do it. Just do it. You'll get ready.
So when you think about the next generation of leaders, what do you believe they need to understand about communication, public trust, and using their voice responsibly?
The next generation of leaders, which I'd also be speaking to myself, because I also believe I am the next gen of leaders, and others behind me as well. What I fully and fundamentally believe in is that the loudest voice is not always the most trusted. Personally, that is my personal view. And I think trust today, again, is earned through consistency, humility, and accuracy. And most importantly, being relatable in your messaging and in your actions. So I think those are what the next generation of leaders will really need to understand about communication, public trust, and really using their voice responsibly for the future, even the now where they are, like the space where you're in right now. Put those into practice and just get better at it in the future as well. But that is my advice, or what I think of the next generation of leaders for sure.
Excellent. Okay. And one final question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you could go back and speak to your younger self, the one who is just starting to imagine her career, what that would become, what would you want her to know today?
At a time where it felt that I could do everything, and that delayed my action, I think one thing I would tell myself is you don't need the whole map mapped out yet. Really just do one thing, and if it doesn't align, you can hop onto the next thing. It's very okay to be open to being agile, to adapt to new environments and to new opportunities. Really just keep showing up, and really you'll never feel ready. You just need to take the step and understand that one step forward is better than no step, and things sticking in your head than actioning on them. So really that would be the advice to my younger self, and it's something that I've carried after then, and it's helped me put action into that and really see a pathway forward through my very multi-passionate lifestyle and professions.
Amazing. And you mentioned earlier about living in Vancouver, and it made me reflect on my younger self. I had the opportunity when I was living in Calgary, and I was working for Costco, and they were in North America, but they were expanding into Europe, and they actually put out a notice saying any employees that want to go to England, London to help us open, put your hand up.
Yeah.
And I didn't have children at the time, but I was married, and my husband at the time didn't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
That is the biggest regret that I have in my career, to make a move, even from Vancouver to Ottawa, but for me to have made a move from Calgary to London, England, that would have completely changed the trajectory of my career and where I would be today. So when it comes to making moves, go for it. If you have an opportunity to make a move, the move itself, you'll get lots of lessons, but great opportunities will come to you in your career with big moves.
Exactly. And Joanne, really to build onto that, a lot of my friends did not understand why I would want to leave the amazing, comfortable weather in Vancouver to swap to a weather that is always dark and cold in Ottawa. And really for me, I really want to build a career in public affairs. And what a better environment to do that than in Ottawa. Like Vancouver, yes, we do have that. We do have folks working with the BC government, but I had bigger thoughts in mind that I really wanted to expand my opportunities. And I said yes to relocation. And sometimes you just need to take the big leap of the unknown. And you will find your footing. It will challenge you and pull you in so many different ways, because you're taken away from your very comfortable familiar spaces, and you're now in this very big new world where you have to rebuild everything, your contacts, your relationships at work, navigating the systems and environment and everything around it. But I think it pushes you in the right direction. So if you get an opportunity to relocate, really consider doing it and do it. And if you don't like it, you can always go back home.
That's right.
My parents tell me the same thing, Alliancé, wherever you are outside, if you feel like you have done the best you can, just come back home. And I'm like, oh, that's good. At least I have that. So it's also plenty. But I'm very excited and very happy to be here. And who knows what the future holds as well. So
exactly. Yeah. And Ottawa is not a bad place to land. I really enjoy my time in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. It's local, but also international, in that there are a lot of people that come from across the world that come to Ottawa to do many things. And there's also a lot of Canadians from coast to coast that also come to Ottawa to do a lot of great things. So it's a really nice hub of a mixture of really many great people.
Yes. Yeah. And I can't wait to my next trip to Ottawa. I don't know exactly when that is, but hopefully we can do this again in person, in a podcasting room or studio. I would love to reconnect with you in person.
Absolutely.
So where can people find you? Where would you like them to follow you on LinkedIn? I can put your link in the show notes.
For sure. Well, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's Alliancé B Daniels. I'm also trying to put myself out there a bit more. Remember, we talked about you never feel ready, but you just have to take action. I've started a Substack as well. It's Alliancé B Daniels. So put me on there as well. Follow along my curiosity pathways of everything I see around the world, but really on LinkedIn. And Substack is really good too.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to Career Ambitions. If this episode gave you a new perspective, a practical takeaway, or even a little spark of confidence you needed, I would love for you to follow the show and leave a review. And if you're an ambitious corporate professional who's ready to stop guessing and start moving with a clear strategy, I would love to invite you to my masterclass. Inside this masterclass, I teach the exact strategies my clients are using to land their dream jobs. You can learn more about the masterclass in the show notes or at joannesparrow.com. See you in the next episode of Career Ambitions.